Hey everybody, so it's Kim Okerman. I wanted to share a little bit about my background. I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship, leadership, communication, and there's a number of reasons why, but some of my background, early in my life, I grew up in Japan as a missionary kid. I actually was born and raised there, lived there till I was 19, and then I moved to the US. Now, I had a few unique experiences and things that really shaped me. One of them was when I was 8 years old, my youngest sister was born, and I thought she was the best thing ever. And really, it allowed me to have a space where I could just love on this little baby that was my baby sister. And it caused me to realize a place of influence as an 8-year-old where I saw that she looked up to, she thought I was the best thing ever. I thought she was the best thing ever. And it gave me a space of influence into her life. And so since I've been 8, I've considered myself a leader of sorts, because have been, her and my other younger sister who have looked up to me in a way, and obviously they've shaped their own lives and they've made a whole bunch of decisions, and there were so many other people that have been impactful, but I knew that I did have a place of influence in their life, and they obviously had a place of influence in mine. And so that was when I was 8. When I was 12, we had an experience in Japan that really just created an opportunity for me to learn about God. There was a space where just some cool things were happening with our church. And it also gave opportunity for me to step up in some leadership, of even starting to do some music, to lead worship. And I was given a voice, even as a 12-year-old, to interact with some incredible, amazing leaders in the church world. And that was when I was 12. Now, similar time frame, I actually got to start helping my dad with our English teaching business. And we launched that in 2005. I got to help all through, since I was around 11, 12, and then all through high school until I moved to the US, and was able to help create curriculum, design things, do video editing, recording, be able to create new material and think about how are we going to build out this company and this program, as well as actually teach classes of both kids and adults as I went through my teen years. And so that created the opportunity to be able to speak and teach and coach, to look at entrepreneurship, to see what we could do if we could solve a problem. I could help with this family business, and it also created me the opportunity for me to see how having a business as a family created opportunity for us to really shape the life that we wanted to shape, And so that was when I was, 12 through all my high school years. Now, when I moved to the US, I initially moved here to study music and theology, and then I shifted into business. And when I shifted into business, I was going to business school full-time, studying for that. But I started working in restaurants part-time and pretty quickly found myself promoted. I started being a restaurant manager at 22. When I bought my first house at, 25, I closed on my 25th birthday, which was exciting. And at 26, I was able to launch my own company in the financial industry and start really learning that sector. Now, all these opportunities, it's incredible because I've talked about being a person of value. That was really influential from John Maxwell. Be a person of value. And Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which my dad loved, talks about learning to work for free. Because if you learn to work for free and contribute value, at some point in time, you're going to get paid. And I've been so grateful for the opportunities that I've had in my life to be able to serve and contribute and add value, as well as the opportunities to get paid significant amount of money and to be promoted and to be able to have doors open. And that's been something that's so incredible. And so those are some of the things that have impacted and influenced me. I'm now on leadership with a nonprofit. Our team and company has continued to expand. We've got over 30 licensed agents. We can work in all 50 states. And it's incredible to see where, little Kim growing up in Japan in a mountain neighborhood, I was homeschooled. I didn't have very many friends. I didn't know really what life was going to look like. When I moved to the US, I was like, oh my gosh, as a kid thinking about making that transition felt so daunting, so scary. And yet I'm so grateful, because as hard as it has been, and there's been so many challenges, we never see the behind the scenes that someone goes through. People, especially with any type of influence or inspiring story, probably went through some really crazy hard things. And each of our stories are like this package. We've got the positives and the negatives. We got the things that are really amazing and the things that were really stinking hard. The things that we wish that nobody would ever have to go through, including ourselves. And yet some of those things were the things that have created who we are, have shaped some of the skill sets that we have. for me, to be honest, it was not easy to grow up in Japan. It was not easy to grow up in some of that third culture dynamic, as far as having parents from one culture, living in another culture, and then being kind of growing up in this third culture, this blend of both that doesn't really exist anywhere on the planet, And so it's just this unique blend. And then it asks these questions: where do I belong? What do I do? And so I've had the opportunity to be able to build and grow these different things. But it has come with a lot of hardship, a lot of change, a lot of challenges, a lot of dynamics that, many times I've not felt like I fit in or I belonged, or I wondered what is, where am I supposed to be? Like, what can I do in these environments? And those very questions are part of what has shaped and formed me to be able to add value and contribute in the way that I can. And so I want to encourage you, regardless of your story and where you're coming from, I would encourage you that your challenges and your skill sets and the blessings, those things all combine. And we can't unpackage everything and like take this little piece from that person's story and this little piece from that person's story and this little piece from that person's story. We've got a package that's uniquely situated for our story and our lives. So then the question is, how can we utilize what God has given us in the package of our life to be able to add and contribute value to other people? And that's part of my goal, even with creating some of this content, even with sharing a little bit about the storyline that I've gone through in leadership, communication, entrepreneurship, some of the dynamics of multicultural. Hopefully I get to share some of those things. And my hope is that I can take the unique package that I have and be able to contribute value, and then hopefully inspire you to take the package that you have, the dynamics and things that you have going on for you, and be able to help and pay that forward to someone else in your life as well.